Hey guys, today I'm bringing to you a deck profile and tournament report from NAWCQ. It's been about a week and a half now, and I was debating whether or not to show you guys this deck. I went X3 day 1, which means I bubbled out. Only about 4 or 5 people, I believe, made day 2 with an X3 record, and unfortunately my tiebreakers were not good enough. But I think it's kind of an interesting example of some rushed deck building. I made some weird decisions that I'd like to talk about, and I'd like to talk about the Orcust deck in general. I played 5 mirror matches, and so I can talk a lot about my build versus those of my opponents, and just in general, kind of laugh at some of the weird stuff I did, and talk about what I would do differently in the future. Also, we have some pretty cool participation prizes. This die is pretty neat. That's the variant die. It's like the gold edition from last year, and of course we kind of have our Link sleeves. So let's get right into the deck. We have, of course, our Orcusts. This is standard. Nothing much to say about it. Harpour is an amazing normal summon, and it's really nice to open Nightmare in your hand because then you can discard it off of Mermaid, so even if they negate the Mermaid, you usually have some plays going forward. We are playing Trickstars. So I was playing the Burning Abyss build up until about a week before the event, and I had to scramble to get all these cards right at the last minute. I decided that the Trickstar variant was the best because of Light Stage. The card is just so powerful, and it helps you deal with a lot of the trap cards in the format, like in the Mirror Match, Salamangrates, even you can lock down Sky Striker back row if you need to. Playing Warriors, so this is where things get a little bit weird. So I played Armageddon Knight, Dark Grepher, and double Destrudo. The second Destrudo came in because I wanted to have more discard targets for Dark Grepher. I wanted this card to be able to be special summoned as often as possible, and so I ended up cutting a card, which I'll talk about in a second. For the second Destrudo, I was originally only going to play one. Destrudo in general is just a really good card because it's an extender from both the hand and graveyard, and you can't really, your opponent doesn't really interact with it. You know, it's not stopped by Colossus or anything, just this whole package, you know, being able to normal Armageddon Knight send a Destrudo, and that's full combo. Just like stuff like Droll, Colossus doesn't stop it. Pretty much the only way they can deal with it is by negating the effect of Armageddon Knight, and that's really terrible, because usually you can extend and do full combo anyway. Some people do get afraid of Destrudo and try to get rid of it before they think you go into Yazi, but really you're just going into Nightmare. I would probably not play this going forward. I did like it after seeing the field spell Orcust decks that were played at YCS Knoxville, but I just don't think it's the optimal way of playing. I sort of played them instead of Sky Strikers, which was a huge mistake. Sky Strikers were super good in the mirror match because it's just a free, purely special summon full combo, which, you know, really puts a lot of pressure on you to do something about, and also it allows you to run Eagle Booster, which was so good I would almost run it by itself regardless of whether I'm playing Engage or Hornet Drones or not. Simply just due to the fact that it can protect your Mermaid, it can protect your Rusty Bardiche. It's just such an incredibly potent card that's so difficult to play around unless you have something like Lancey or Droll. Now we're playing Dangers, so I did decide that I wanted to play Dangers in this deck. So I was originally playing the 5 with 3 Nessie, 1 Tsuchinoko, 1 Jackalope. What I did not like about Nessie is that if Colossus was on the field and it discards itself, it can't search. Also, in the little bit of testing I was able to do before the event, people were starting to side Droll against me because it was really popular for the Thunder Dragon matchup. And so if they were going second into me, sometimes they'd side the Droll in along with the Lancia, and then I'd be stuck having too many searches. So I went to just Jackalope and Tsuchinoko, and I mentioned I cut a card for the second Destrudo. I cut the 5th Danger for the Destrudo again because it's level 7, so it can be discarded for Dark Grepher. 3 Phantom Knights. A lot of people were not playing the second boots. I really like to have the second boots. In general, just the 3rd Phantom Knight can be really useful in case you open one of the boots, or you can send it on a consecutive turn to set the Phantom Knight trap that you didn't set the previous turn. Usually Shade Brigadine, sometimes Fogblade if you went for Time Thief Redoer. Finally, definitely a very good decision, 3 Ash. I wish I'd played more hand traps. Spoiler, I did not play Impermanence, which is another fantastic card that a lot of other people were playing. Both Impermanence and the Skystrike Engine were things that I thought I could kind of get away without playing. I wasn't sure if I liked them, even though they had a lot of potential, and I didn't really want to pay $100 for either the Impermanence or the Skystriker, so I didn't play them. But Ash, as a hand trap, was very, very strong. It's just generically good into every matchup, and it is the only way for you to get around aside from Gear Gamma, which was very popular to side at the event. Into spells, of course, the 3 light stage. This is one of the main reasons I played the Danger Trickstar version over Burning Abyss, is so that I could run this card. I would run Trickstars in the Burning Abyss build if it would work, but they kind of conflict. So wasn't able to do that, so I just switched to this version. Seemed to do pretty well. Playing the Mystic Mine in the Babel of course for the Orcust. Mystic Mine, sometimes if you can't play, you just slap it down. It won me a game, I think. For the most part, it didn't do too much, but it was never bad to have. I did bait a negate a couple times, like it baited a Time Thief Redoer effect. It was alright. And of course, we're playing the 2 Terraforming to search all of these cards. 3 Instant Fusion, another reason I wanted to play this version instead of the Burning Abyss version. I think Instant Fusion is crazy in this deck. Thousand Eyes Restrict and El Shadal Winda are both fantastic things to have access to. The former for breaking boards, the latter to solidify going first board, especially if you got Lancia. Of course, we have the 3 Called by the Grave. You have to play this because this deck loses to hand traps. Usually it can play through 1, but oftentimes not 2, and this is your only way of negating Lancia if it gets dropped on you. It's definitely gotten worse than it used to be, even just a few weeks ago. I feel like a lot of people are playing Impermanence, a lot of people are playing Gamma specifically to play around this card, but just because Lancia and Ash exist, you still have to play it. And it's okay going first, just setting it, especially in the mirror match or against Salamangrates. It can be quite potent. Banning Twin Twisters because a lot of people are playing back row, so you just need back row removal. One ofs, Foolish Burial, Reinforcement of the Army to search Armageddon Knight and Dark Refer. I nearly cut this card several different times, partially because I did not like it in Colossus, but I ended up playing it anyway for some reason. I don't know. There were a lot of things I changed last second. Again, I only picked up the deck about a week before the event. I had no one to test with, really. So I just sort of threw stuff together, and it was almost entirely theory, and I didn't really get to try many things to see what felt better. So I was probably playing one of the worst Orcust decks in the room, which is why I think going X3 on day 1 was not too bad. The 4 traps, Fogblade, 2 of them, Shade, and Crescendo. Let's do extra deck. Sorry for the shadows I'm casting over the mat. I'm having trouble with lighting. Boral Sword. Some people are cutting it, but it won me a lot of games that I probably... I wouldn't say I wouldn't have won them, but it definitely secures games that would be uncertain otherwise. Shade Brigadine for combo. Longirsu. It came up once. I don't think the card's that great. It's definitely cuttable, but I think maybe it just happened to not come up. A lot of other people made it against me. Triple Galatea. 2 are required for combo, so you play the 3rd. Now here's where my extra deck gets weird. This is another place where I just didn't really test, and also just didn't really want to spend extra money on cards that I didn't think I would need. So we're playing the Unicorn, and you may know where this is going in a second. So I played 5 Nightmares. The second Mermaid does come up, even though people will tell you it doesn't. It did a few times during the tournament. Xyz. 1 Dingirsu, yes. I am very stupid. If I had tested this deck in 1 mirror match at all before this tournament, I would have picked up the second Dingirsu. I didn't think it would come up, and I liked Unicorn against Thunder Dragons, because what most of the testing I had done was against Thunder Dragons, was the deck I was most scared of, and so much of my deck building was centered around having a better Thunder Dragon matchup. And since you can't summon Dingirsu twice in 1 turn, having the Unicorn to go into so that you can use both effects in 1 turn is very good against Thunder Dragons. However, the second Dingirsu comes up so much in every other matchup you play. Even against Thunder Dragons, the second one comes up, so I would definitely cut the Unicorn for Dingirsu, or maybe I would even cut the Long Girsu, second Dingirsu. And then 2 fusions. These were... The Thousand Eyes Restrict was an MVP. The Winda pretty much never came up for me. I lost a couple games to it being used on me, but I just never really got to use Instant Fusion going first to make the Winda. The only time I used it first was when I needed it as an extender to do the basic combo, unfortunately. So yeah, play the second Dingirsu. Eagle Booster is super good. Just in general, don't be cheap. Play the Impermanence also. Impermanence is crazy this format. Those are the main takeaways thus far. For side deck, Triple Lancia, you have to play it because it's good in the mirror match. Not so good against Thunder Dragons anymore, to be honest. The Crusadia version means that Lancia is pretty obsolete. I will say, on the other hand, Droll is super good against the deck. Guess what deck I played against none of after citing for it and building my entire main deck to play it. I played 0 Thunder Dragons. It was 5 mirror matches, a Sky Striker, 2 Salamangreat, and a True Draco, I believe. That's all 9 rounds. I might have missed a matchup, but I think that was all I played against. So, sucks to be me. Pankratops is generally good against trap decks like Altergeist. It's really good against Salamangreat. I cited it in going second against them a bunch. 2 Electric Virus. 2 more cards dedicated entirely to Thunder Dragons. That was 5 cards dedicated pretty much entirely to that matchup and didn't play it. Black Garden for Sky Strikers. It won me a game in the 1 Sky Striker match I played. And Triple Red Reboot. So some people weren't playing this card, and I think that's crazy. 1, it's an auto win against True Draco, Altergeist, Paleo, those kinds of decks. It's also very good in the mirror match, because almost everyone I played against, 4 out of the 5 mirror matches I played, my opponents were setting Crescendo instead of Babel. So this just turns off all 3 interactions they have, and you can generally OTK them through their board if they don't have any interruptions for you. And I even cited the Sin going first quite a bit, which I saw no one else doing. If you're playing Eagle Booster, you probably shouldn't have to, which is why no one else was. Definitely play Eagle Booster in the main instead of citing the Sin going first, but it's okay because it stops Impermanence. That's the reason I did. Almost everyone was either maining or citing Impermanence against me, and so I Red Rebooted an Impermanence going first 3 or 4 times. Like, it was a lot. So I guess that's just proof that Eagle Booster is a good card. Yeah, just play that instead. You're going first. But I didn't because I'm stupid. And that is the deck. So definitely some lessons I took away. I hope this deck isn't killed before YCS Portland, because I will be there most likely. And I hope to play this deck again after I've learned a lot of lessons about it. I think I did okay. I think my understanding of the deck is pretty decent. Just in general, as far as the mechanics of it, that it got me to almost day 2 despite playing a really horrible list. And it's a fun deck. The mirror matches definitely dragged on a little. By the 5th one, I was like, okay, seriously, I'm kind of sick of this. Can we play against the Thunder Dragons I prepared for? But unfortunately, I was not that lucky. So yeah, if you guys went to NAWCQ, tell me what you played. I'd be curious to hear what everyone was playing, especially if you were playing something not in the big four if you're playing a weird variant. There's a lot of different cool variants of Orcust that are not the Trickstar variant. If you have any interesting versions of that, if you have any suggestions for a Burning Abyss Orcust build, if you have any spicy text for that, I'd like to hear it, because I am considering going back to playing Burning Abyss Orcust for YCS Portland. I don't know if I'm going to continue to play the Trickstar variant or not. Partially depends on the fate of Mermaid on the ban list. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video, which will hopefully be not 2 weeks from now, unlike this one. Bye.